कहो एक बार हे मित्रों सनातन Let me hear voices. कहो एक बार हे मित्रों वैदिक धर्म की जय हो सनातन धर्म की जय हो वैदिक धर्म की जय हो वैदिक धर्म की जय हो आर्य समाज की जय हो कहो एक बार हे मित्रों सनातन धर्म की जय हो वैदिक धर्म की जय हो आर्य समाज की ओम विश्वानि देव सवितर join with me ओम विश्वानि देव सवितर दुरितानि
परासुव यद्भद्रं
आसुव ओम शांति 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 देवियों और भद्रजनों, if I'm allowed to use this Western term, ladies and gentlemen, I prefer to say mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, children, and most importantly, oh, all of you souls walking on the path to liberation, whether what system of belief you may come from, the final thing is that we all end up the same place. 2 times in our lives, or 2 times in our history. One time when we die, meaning when the soul leaves the body, we all end up at a cremation spot, or for those people who are buried, we all end up in the burial ground. That's one time we all meet up at the same place. And it didn't matter whether we were rich or we were poor, we were man or woman, or we were this race or that race, it really didn't matter. We all end up at the same place. First time when we are disposed of in terms of our soul exiting our body. And the second time we all meet up at the same place is when we stop being born. Our soul ceases entering into bodies based on cumulative effects of deeds, and we enter straight into mukti, whether we are Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Muslim, or whatever you may be. That too didn't really matter. What comes into account is how you spent your life, whether selflessly or selfishly, and that's the categorization that matters. If you're a Hindu and you are selfish, you have no good to get. If you're a Christian or Muslim or Jew and you are selfish, no matter how much scripture you read or you read, it has no good accumulating for you. And even if you are atheist but you follow the cosmic laws, listen, even if you're atheist but you follow the cosmic laws, and you lived for a blossoming of your inner self, and you lived for a harmonizing of humanity in and around you, trust me, you have all the good coming your way in terms of a culmination in mukti and emancipation. But there's one thing that impedes us from putting our right foot forward. When I was a kid, my parents used to trouble me and say, go downstairs and touch the bicycle. You know, in Guyana, there's an upstairs and there's a bottom flat downstairs where you didn't live during the day. And during those days, we didn't have electricity, so there was no light. And they used to challenge me, go downstairs, touch, hit the bicycle and run upstairs. Let's hear that you hit the bicycle, because I was always afraid and they wanted to drive fright out of me. And my foot couldn't move. My right foot couldn't move. And the other thing is, when I had to go address an audience for the first time, I used to participate in Hindi school sammelan, and I used to learn my parts, the chaupai and the shlok and the mantra, and you had to go recite, and I knew it all. And the minute they gave me that mic, my body went like this, and my voice couldn't open. Fear gripped me. When I had to go touch the bicycle, I was always afraid of the spirits, what we call in Guyana, the zombie or zombie in good English. I'm not sure what the word is. And let me tell you something. There comes a time in your life when fear grips you too. And this fear causes you sorrow. It causes you a loss of harmony. It snaps your connections with whatever higher power you have been connected with, and you feel left all alone on an island. Another moment of fear, you have a job and you get a salary that allows you to buy enough only to eat, wear, and to pay the rent, and you receive a pink slip. Fear grips you, and fear causes sorrow. And it becomes a task of religionists, if I'm to use that term. It becomes the job of all those who profess God and profess to be knowledgeable in sacred writings to suggest to the masses ways and means of overcoming fear. The way it becomes the job of the doctor, if you have heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and you have ailments in your body, it becomes their job to prescribe the antidote medicine whereby you can overcome your illnesses and your shortcomings in health. Now, in me preaching to you today, it doesn't mean necessarily that I've overcome fear, but I have turned the pages of sacred writings like Vedas and Satish Prakash and Bhagavad Gita and Sanskar Vidhi and Upanishads, and I've pulled a gem or two that represent a strategy or two whereby you and I, in practicing these strategies, we may be able to overcome fear. What causes fear? Because fear brings a disconnect and causes me and you to be in sorrow. Well, I have a little story, brothers and sisters, a story of a young lady by the name of Leela. And she grew up like any other good child. She grew up like any other child, infused with good sanskars and good habits and tendencies and inclinations. But when this girl reached 17, she suddenly started being afraid. And every time and by the way, this is a true story, but I just changed the name. Every time it's going to be dark, especially winter, when the sun doesn't come out, she goes under her comforters and her blankets, and she goes like this, and she begins to quake in trepidation and fear. And soon she became nervous and she started feeling insecure. And when that happens, she begins to get secretive. When she goes in an audience, her eyes begin to dance. And when this begin not to be focused and cause a smile here, it means something psychological is taking place that causes the outer body language to betray insecurity and fear. And she would you tell her anything, and she would always cry. I don't profess to be a psychologist. That's not my area of study. But yes, humbly I profess to having turned the pages of the Satish Prakash, Rishi Dayananda's sacred writings. And I really wish in humility to share with you a few things that I picked up. Jo Prabhu ko mane nahi, या माने परिचिन, ओ स्वामी या माने परिचिन. Again, जो प्रभु को माने नहीं, या माने परिचिन, ओ स्वामी या माने परिचिन. हा हा अभिमानी वाहन कर, वह न रहो